Hey Star Wars fans, welcome back to another video from All Things Star Wars Considered. As always, I'm your host Doug, and today we're going to do a room tour of my collection room. Now I'm not quite sure, I've filmed the whole thing, and I'm trying to decide if I want to do it in two segments to kind of cut down on the time, because literally each segment's like 5 minutes, and it's almost like 8 segments, 6 segments or something like that. So it's going to take a while to get through, and I just don't want to lose people. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to actually put this together. So this might be a complete room tour. It could be a half room tour, and maybe we'll do the other half another time. We'll see how things go when I start editing all this. But if you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button so I can continue to bring you that valuable Star Wars content that you've all come to know and love. And if you have done so already, I appreciate the support of the channel. Without you guys, basically, you've got nothing, It's the old Cinderella song, you got nothing. Boy, I'm showing my age there. But in any event, let's get right to the room tour. I hope you enjoy this, and please forgive some of the long-winded dissertations on some of these things. But when you have a room in a collection like this, sometimes you get passionate about an item or two, or 10, or 12, or 50. So check out the room and let me know what you think in the comment section. And here we go. We're off and running. Okay. In the past, when I've done room tours, collection room tours, I've kind of gone very fast and skip over a lot of stuff because you're trying to do it in short order. In this particular room tour, because it's for the channel, I'd like to be a little bit more thorough. So I actually created a border that goes around the perimeter part of the room. It's a way to kind of display carded figures without actually taking up all kinds of much needed space, because obviously these collections take up a lot of room. So I was trying to come up with a way to kind of show off the carded figures without them impeding on some of the displays that are going to go in this room. So obviously you can see I've got the original 12. Well, as close to the original 12 as I could. Let's move along. You can see it. Sorry for the glare. The light behind me is a little brighter than I'd like. You go along, there's the original 12. As you can see, I designed this so that I could put all original posters up. I don't particularly like the New Hope one, but the other two I like. But you can see it, original 12, then the 3 droids, the orange Luke, the Cantina figures. So it's like the original 20, as close as I could. Of course, I took some creative license there with Everson and a couple other figures. But let's move along. So then we've got the Return of the Jedi poster and some Vintage Collection Return of the Jedi figures. Prune Face and Rebel Commando and B-Wing Pilot. And we come along here. I'm going to have to switch some of these up, these Empire figures, because these are all Saga figures. And there's definitely better Empire Vintage Collection figures to me to add to that. Now, when we get over to the New Hope stuff, you're going to see that, obviously, the Vintage Collection hasn't dealt a lot with Cantina figures. It would be really nice if they could put those on some card backs. This is some real great figures there that I would like to get to, see on the Vintage Collection. Now we're going to kind of work our way down. Some Retro Collection Bounty Hunters. And then we have the Falcon. That's the Legacy Falcon, the big one, all the sound effects. The thing that's cool about this is that I actually have 2 different setups going. So you have the interior, they're playing chess, and Solo's, dismissing the Force, and Luke's training. But then, outside of the Falcon, let's come down a little bit further, got some vintage action going on here, and Han and Chewie and Leia have just arrived on Bespin, and they're meeting with Lando and the Bespin guards and Lobot. There's a cloud car. That's an original cloud car. That's nice. Okay, let's move along. Now we're getting to one of my favorite parts of my collection. And I'm sure anybody that has this will say it's got to be one of the highlights of their collection as well. And that is Jabba's sail barge, the Katana, which is a HasLab. Geez, has it been 6 years ago? Wow, it already has been. So here's the Katana. I love this ship. I mean, very, very happy that I made this purchase. No regrets there at all. So, okay. And let's move along here. Have some action going on there with the skiffs. The prisoner skiff needs a little bit of work. Needs some characters there, but we'll get there eventually. Continue along. This is the lower part of the room. This needs to be revamped because obviously stuff's improved since then. So this all needs to kind of get brought more modernized. At the time it was cool, but now they're outdated. They're going to go in a box somewhere and go into the closet. So, and then let's just kind of make one final sweep. There's another HasLab. And there's the Razor Crest. I love the Razor Crest. The only problem is it's tough to display. There's a lot of stuff going on in the interior of the ship, like the carbonite blocks, and really, really great detail on that ship. But I don't know, it's just tough to display. I'm just not doing it any justice. But that's 1/4 of the room. We'll get to the next wall in just a second. Thanks for watching. Continuing the room tour. I guess we could put this in any order. It doesn't really matter. But again, more figures creating the border. And I utilized the top parts of these shelving units to create the Battle of Hoth. I really could use some better figures there because a lot of these are outdated. Maybe I'll pick up the Hoth 4-pack Army Builder set. I think they're on eBay, no, Amazon right now, for like $24.99. What a great way to pick up a bunch of Hoth Rebel soldiers. So we're going to move along here. Like I said, we've got the figures up there. It's kind of tough to see them because they're behind the AT-ATs, but you got this going on. Oh boy, Luke's about to get crushed. Maybe not so fast. Okay, then we come over here. And what do we have here? Oh, it looks like the Death Star, the vintage Kenner Death Star. Oh, Vader's meeting with the bounty hunters. Oh, what's going on down here? Oh, the trash compactor scene with the custom hand stormtrooper. Always one of my faves. Got the shuttle, the Emperor, Vader. Oh, wait until we get to the top there. That stormtrooper helmet is like a Dawn Post helmet. The thing is awful. It's probably worth some money though, but it's part of my collection, so it stays. So again, we're going to move down. Okay, this was a great pickup. Picked this up at the Toy Vault, the entire Hoth World Micro Collection set. And when you set it up right, add a little bit of sky for the backdrop and some snow for the base, and just set it all up and spread it all out. It's really a nice setup. This bookcase I actually found on the side of the road, much to my wife's chagrin. But it's nice. Keeps all the stuff dust-free, which I'm very happy about. Okay, well, let's move along. It's tough to get a lot of this stuff into the shots, and I'll tell you why. You've seen some of these things on my channel. Actually, you've seen that Land of the Jawas. You've seen this diorama. And this is the Jabba's setup for the vintage. All the vintage figures. I have the modern setup, and I have the vintage setup. I'm not a huge Black Series fan, not because I don't like the Black Series, because I absolutely do. Oh, by the way, that's me and my wife. Me is Boba Fett, and her is Hoth Leia. But, yeah, as far as the Black Series, I think the figures are great. It's a different scale, though, and I grew up with 3 3/4. And the 3 3/4 gave you ships and play sets and beasts and mini rigs and all this stuff. So you could get more out of that collection. And that's basically why I'm not as big a fan of the Black Series. Not because I don't think the figures aren't great, because they are. And this is the Sideshow Jabba. I don't have the flexibility to kind of get back because I created an island. I'm using air quotes. I created an island in the middle of the room, and then basically you kind of walk around the perimeter, but the middle of the room is occupied by this shelving unit, which displays a bunch of stuff. And my DTOF case with some masks and helmets in there. There's so much stuff, but I try to display it as best as I can. Okay, that takes us through 2 out of the 4 walls. Now, obviously, I mentioned about the island. This is the face of the island, I guess the front. It's the first thing you see when you walk through the door. And obviously, I focused on the Jabba's Palace diorama, which has been my favorite to work on, favorite to display, favorite scene. So the diorama actually sits on top of the 4 bookcases that create this island effect. And then I'm able to use the shelving units to actually house displays, dioramas, figures, play sets, box stuff. So you'll see as we go through. But obviously the palace sits on top of the Rancor pit. And obviously the torture room, my least favorite. Still needs some work. Got to figure out some lighting and some other ways to make it look more like a machine shop or a torture room for droids. But obviously you come down. Now this is where, like I said, where the diorama sits on, and it sits on these bookshelves. Now we come down, and as we get down into the first shelf, we have the Imperial attack base. Pretty cool. I loved playing with this as a kid. And get some snowtroopers set up in there. The backdrop, some fake snow. I always liked that concept of using that little bridge there to actually hang Luke upside down and create a Wampa cave. Obviously, there's Pal the Wampa. And there's some vintage figures. He's got the brown coat. My buddy George painted that. Came out great. Nice little variation on that figure. He did have a brown jacket, not blue. But then we keep working our way down. Now we're going to get to the turret probot playset. Another favorite. Very gimmicky. You swing the little control arm, and the little white stick that the probot sits on makes him tumble over. So that's kind of cool. And then let's get down as low as we possibly can, because this collection goes from floor to ceiling. And down below we have a modern representation of a turret probot playset. It's the Hasbro one. And then we come across there, and here's a modern Wampa cave. I always like that. It's pretty fun. And then again, let's work our way back up. Get some vintage figures, followed by some retro collection Empire figures. This is kind of like the Empire setup. Of course, minus the Jabba's Palace, which sits on top of the whole thing. But, yeah, that's 1/4 of the island. And as we pan away, And as we end this particular segment, we will leave you with the Death Star hanging from the ceiling. Okay, this is the eastern part of the island, and probably doesn't take a rocket science to figure out what the eastern part starts out looking like. Like I said, the Jabba's palace sits on the actual island, and what do you have? The door. And there it is, R2-3PO, waiting to be let into Jabba's palace. Let's work our way down. Got some retro figures here. I was really excited to pick these up. I'm going to have to do a little segment of how I obtain these. Whether you like the figures or not, the story was kind of cool. We'll have to get to that another time. Story for another day. But I was happy when I picked those 6 figures up. And of course, you had the Grand Moff Tarkin. Sorry for the finger. Such tight quarters here. I just threw an orange Luke. But like I said, there's all kinds of shelving units because they're bookcases. So what I've done is I just use all the space. There's some micro collection stuff. A lot more micro collections, some mini rigs. I got a great deal on those mini rigs for my cousin. Then as we come up a little bit further, we have some Black Series figures. Again, I don't do a lot of Black Series in my channel, but you know, I do have them. It's just, they're more sterile for me. I'd like to be able to do more with them. Just, there's not enough. So, my bread and butter is 3 3/4. I mean, look at that. I love it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was very long-winded, correct? Yes. But how do you show off 40 plus years of Star Wars collection? You know, or a 40-year Star Wars collection, or 40 years of collecting this stuff. You know, it's going to take some time to get through. So you either, you know, kind of go through it and gloss over everything and just get through it. And at the end of it, people go, yeah, that's nice. Or, you know, you get in depth and talk about it. So that's what this channel is about. It's about talking about Star Wars, right? All things Star Wars considered. And as you can see, as you went through, you know, I didn't quite mention it in all the shots, but, you know, you saw Black Series, you saw vintage, you saw modern, you know, there was Lego, you know, I don't know if you picked up on it, but there definitely was. There was some Band-Aid model kits. There's Sideshow stuff. There's Gentle Giant stuff. There's that Jazzwares Papercraft Death Star that I just reviewed. There's micro collection stuff. You name it, it was there. So, you know, I said we were going to get down and dirty and in depth with all things Star Wars considered. So that's what we're doing. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button so I can continue to bring you that valuable Star Wars content. Those that have subscribed, thank you for the support. It goes a long way in this community. If you like the video, hit the like button. That helps the channel as well. If you've got some comments you'd like to leave, obviously we have a comment section for that, so leave them down there and I'll try to respond to your questions or, you know, or thoughts. And we're going to wrap things up. Again, I hope you enjoyed the room tour. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and as always, may the Force be with you. No droids were hurt in the filming of this video. Thanks for watching.